Hey everyone, today we got a Specialized Tarmac Sl6 Sport. So yes, this is the Sl6, which is the previous generation frame. Specialized still offers this frame in their Tarmac lineup, even though they came out with the new Sl7 frame, which you can check out my review over here. As you can see on the website, Specialized offers the Sl6 Tarmacs in 3 different variants. We have the base Sl6 with Shimano Tiagra 10-speed mechanical shifting. Then we have the Sport, like this one over here, with Shimano 105 11-speed mechanical shifting. And then there's the Tarmac Sl6 Comp with Ultegra 11-speed mechanical shifting. So we can notice a pattern that all of the Sl6 models of the Tarmac come with mechanical shifting, and then all of the Sl7 models come with electronic shifting. So if you want to get the Sl7 with mechanical shifting, you're going to have to build it up yourself. Specialized does not offer full builds of that on their website. In this video, we'll be taking a look at all the specs and details of this bike, as well as we'll take it out for a quick spin to see how it compares with my TCR. But before we begin, let's start off with a free hub sound check. Yeah, that's pretty loud. Okay, let's go. To start off, this bike is a size 51, and for reference, I am 175 centimeters tall with an 80 centimeter inseam. And the color of this bike is called Gloss Aqua. It's kind of similar to baby blue or even Tiffany blue, I would say. And it just so happens that my TCR is also blue, so when we do our comparison later, it'll be kind of like the battle of the blue bikes. So yeah, blue bike against blue bike. Which color do you like better? Let me know in the comment section below. This one doesn't have a glimmery finish to it, whereas my TCR does. One thing I noticed about this paint job is from afar, the Specialized logo looks black, like ordinary black, but if you actually take a closer look at it and if the light hits it at a right angle, you can actually see that the logo has a shimmering finish to it, so that's really nice. And another thing I noticed is that this bike does not have the Tarmac logo in any visible area. Usually you will have the bike's model name somewhere visible, but on this bike, the only place that I can see the Tarmac is right here on the bottom bracket area in the rear triangle where it says Tarmac, and then the material is FACT 9R. So speaking of this, this bike is made with FACT 9R, which is how Specialized rates their carbon. So we have the 9R, which is their lower end carbon. Then we have the 10R on their normal SL7s, and then the 12R on their S-Works Tarmac SL7s. Different grades of carbon just means that the higher the number, the more stiff and lighter it is. But don't get me wrong, just because this has a FACT 9R rating doesn't mean that this bike is not stiff. It's actually very light, and it's actually pretty stiff as well. I'm pretty sure majority of the people wouldn't even be able to tell the difference between the 10R and the 9R in terms of stiffness, including me. Honestly, if blindfolded, I probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference between a 10R and a 9R frame. The S-Works with the 12R, and compared to this one, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to tell the difference. But honestly, it just goes to show that just because it has a 9R frame doesn't mean that it's a bad bike. It's still really stiff, pretty light, and yeah, overall, really good bike. Moving on to the group set, this bike comes with Shimano 105 mechanical shifting with hydraulic disc brakes. So here at the front crankset, we have a 50-34 compact crankset. Here at the back, we have an 11-30 11-speed, so the gearing is really good for climbs. Braking wise, the brakes are also Shimano 105 hydraulic, and with 160mm rotors at the front. These discs have Shimano's ice technology, so that keeps it nice and cool. Here at the back, we have 140mm rotors. Coming along to the front, here we have an aluminum stem and aluminum handlebar. There is no integrated cockpit here, so we do have the cables running out and into the bike. This is mechanical shifting, so you will have 4 cables in total running out. They are pretty neat and they don't really flare out too much, so it's not that big of a deal. So they just come in through the down tube over here. And we also have integrated cables here at the brakes, so it runs into the fork and out into the brakes. So yeah, pretty neat. Similar to my TCR, you get used to it after a while. The wheels on this bike are DT Swiss R470s, so these ones are the same ones on the LA Sprint. These ones are fitted with the turbo cotton 26mm tires, and they support up to 30mm. These wheels are tubeless ready, but this one currently right now is not set up for tubeless, so it's still running an inner tube. So let's talk about the design of this bike. The SL6 is where the Specialized made the tarmac more aero. As you can tell from the drop seat stays, similar to the SL7, the SL7 has a bit of a winged drop seat stay where it extends out a little bit. This one just has ordinary drop seat stays, so not as aero as the SL7. One thing that I don't like about this design is the seat post and clamp design. So while it is a S-Works carbon seat post, which is really good, it is not the aero design that you get on the SL7 and the higher end SL6s back when Specialized offered them. Those ones, you have a aero seat post with a D shape to it, with a more cleaner clamp, not like this external one. And also, you don't get the rear cutout for the rear wheel. So these two differences just kind of take away from the overall feel of this bike, making it look more ordinary and not as special like a tarmac should look like. So yeah, what do you guys think? Okay, so I have it here at 8.45 kgs. Okay, so the weight is to be expected of a bike with aluminum wheel sets and 105, and the FACT 9R carbon does play a role in the weight. Overall, it's still pretty light. It honestly feels lighter than it weighs. Like, I can lift it up with my 2 fingers, and it's overall, I would say it's still a really good weight. It's got really good gearing for climbing, so yeah, let's take it. So yeah, let's switch over to my GoPro and we'll take it out for a quick spin and see how it compares with my TCR. Let's go. Okay, so we got the two bikes side by side over here, and right away we can tell that the geometry of these two frames is very similar. In fact, I think the seat height and the stack height are almost identical, so it'll be a really good comparison between these two bikes. Obviously there's group set differences and wheel set differences, but geometry wise and frame wise it's almost identical. This one has drop seat stays, this one doesn't, but other than that they're almost identical. So we're gonna go take a ride on my TCR first, just get a feel of the bike first, and then right away I'll ride this bike so I can get a more clear comparison about how this one compares to this one. So yeah, let's start off with the TCR and we'll go for a quick spin. Got Squirt over here and let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna ride my TCR first. All right, let's take the Tarmac SL6 out for a spin. Wow, this thing corners great. First impressions, this bike rides very similar to my TCR. I said before, the geometry looks almost identical, and riding style, riding feel, it's very similar. I honestly think if you blindfold me and put me on a TCR and put me on this bike, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, like if everything else is the same. Stiffness wise, this bike feels the same on, yeah. This bike does ride softer, and I think that's because of the 26mm tires, and I think these are running a bit lower PSI. But overall first impressions, oh, this bike's nice. Yeah, handles great, corners great. Yeah, it's a really good all-around bike. I feel it's a really good performing bike. Yeah, overall first impressions is very similar to my TCR. Very comfortable as well, corners great. Just very overall really nice bike. So yeah, there we go. Hey guys, so aside from the seat post design, this bike is a really great mid-range all-rounder bike that's fairly light, great for climbs, stiff but comfortable. It's got 26mm tires on with support up to 30, so you can do some gravel riding if you want. So yeah, and price point wise, this bike is around $4,000 Canadian. I know prices of bikes have gotten higher over the past few years due to COVID and whatnot, and it's hard to get your hands on them, but for $4,000 you're getting a really nice bike. And for comparison, from similar brands like Giant, you have the TCR Advanced 2 disc, which is $3,400, and you have the Trek & Monza SL5 disc, which is at $33,850. So those two options will be a bit cheaper compared to this one, but honestly, out of the three, they're all very similar performance wise, and it really depends on which one you prefer. So I personally would choose the TCR just because I ride my TCR, but this bike is really good. It honestly rides the same, so it really is up to personal preference which one you decide. They will all be great performing bikes. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed my review. I'm almost to 1,000 subs, just 200 away. So if you guys like my content, please support me by giving this video a like and a subscribe. It would really help me out and I would really appreciate it. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time, and yeah.